the biggest ticket-selling fight in Wembley Stadium history, Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. Before I get into the breakdown of the prediction, I'm going to get into the weigh-ins. Dillian Whyte came in at 253 pounds, 4 ounces, or 18 stones, or 144 kilograms, roughly. Tyson Fury came in at 264 pounds, 13 ounces, maybe 63, they said both, or roughly 19 stones, or roughly 119 kilograms. There's not a lot of weight that separates these two, only 11 pounds. That being said, both guys look great. I think Dillian Whyte looks best in his 250s. Tyson Fury looks best at whatever weight he comes to the ring in. And they had fun and showed a lot of respect to each other at the weigh-ins. They did some weird, Tyson Fury gets on his tippy toes. Dillian Whyte ducks down even lower to make the height difference even more. They shook hands. They traded hats. They had a dance-off. And Tyson Fury stayed to do his little 2 cents talk at the end of the weigh-ins. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the breakdown. Let's get into the prediction. And let's get into who I think is going to win. And it's no secret who I think is going to win, because if you see me on other live panels, if you've been on my live panels, if you've ever heard me talk about Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury when it was hypothetical years ago, you already know I picked Dillian Whyte to win. Why? How is that? Dillian Whyte's been beat twice. Tyson Fury's undefeated. He beat Deontay Wilder, the most devastating heavyweight. It doesn't matter. Styles make fights, as they say, to a degree that is true. Stylistically, Dillian Whyte is bad for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury does one thing that he heavily relies on and is not going to work in this fight. And that is what Klitschko did. That is what Lennox Lewis used to do. They like to come in, get their work off, grab hold, and lean on top of you to try to wear you out. Then the referee separates. They grab hold and lean on top of you after they get their work off. So that way you can't return fire. You're getting tired by holding their big asses up. And that's pretty much rinse and repeat how they fight. Tyson Fury's not going to be able to do this in this case. While he is 11 pounds heavier than Dillian Whyte, he's actually not bigger than Dillian Whyte, because here's the thing about it. You're looking at a 6'9" frame with only 11 more pounds than a 6'4" frame that's way more compact. So that means Dillian Whyte is going to be a lot more massive when they come in that ring. When you actually see the width of the back, the depth of the stomach, the back on Dillian Whyte, you're going to see a much more massive looking person, because there's a lot more weight compact into a 6'4" frame than it is into a 6'9" frame. So like I said, 253 is big. Then I know on top of it, Dillian Whyte, he power lifts. He actually works out for strength, which is something a lot of boxers do not do. You've seen Tyson Fury lift a little bit of weights, but those are baby weights. Those are high school weights. That's what kids lift. They're not real serious getting stronger weights. They're just more endurance, while boxing is an endurance sport. However, where the strength's going to help you in this type of fight is that Tyson Fury, when he goes to lean, Dillian Whyte, being the shorter, bigger man, can push him off of him. He can keep him out of the clinch. Or when he does hold him, he can hold him with one arm in the clinch and beat him with the free hand to the body, so that Tyson Fury is not going to want to clinch, because he's getting beat up. Or two, if he does continue to clinch, now the body work starts to slow him down. And that's what I see Dillian Whyte's biggest advantage is in this fight versus the past opponents of Tyson Fury. They've been too small. They've been too light. They haven't been massive enough to be able to deal with that clinching. Now, here's another thing. We've never seen Tyson Fury have to go 12 complete rounds without relying on the clinch. So the question is, can he even show the same gas tank if he cannot get in that pocket to take the breaks that he's used to taking? I don't know. We're going to find out. But I venture to say, while Dillian Whyte is the one with the endurance problem in most of his fights, we're going to see Tyson Fury significantly slow down around the 8th, 9th round. Significantly slow down if what I say happens with Dillian Whyte. Now, we do know Tyson Fury came in lighter. We do know that Tyson Fury is saying that it's going to be an all-out war. Now, that could be BS because he dropped weight, so he might be looking to fight from range, which would be his best opportunity. I think he is going to revert to range, but I think this fight is going to start off with Tyson Fury coming forward, trying to be aggressive, and he's going to get caught, he's going to get hit, he's going to realize he can't clinch, and then he's going to go to back foot fighting. My only question is, Does Dillian Whyte knock Tyson Fury out while he's on the back foot? Because I believe Tyson Fury is going to be so evasive after the first half of the fight that he's not going to be able to win on the scorecards. He's just not going to be able to get off enough shots. When he starts to get off the shots, he's going to get countered. Everybody talks about Dillian Whyte's left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook. While that is good, I'm really in my mind seeing Dillian is going to be beating him to the body every chance that he gets. He's got a really good jab that he works behind. And I think with the body work, the jab is actually going to set up an overhand that is going to be the beginning of the end for Tyson Fury. See, we already know what the chink in the armor is for Dillian Whyte, and that is an uppercut. Tyson Fury doesn't throw uppercuts. He's not known for uppercuts. In fact, the most famous uppercut he ever threw was when he uppercutted himself in the face, which is something I've never seen a professional boxer do. So his forte is not the chink in Dillian Whyte's armor. Dillian has been hit by every punch there is that can be thrown, and he's never went down. It's only when the uppercut lands that he has issues, whether it had been against Parker, whether it had been against Povetkin when it went into a dream world, whether it was against Rivas, who he was dominating, etc. It's always the same punch. It's the uppercut. For whatever reason, that's what punches his lights out. Now, maybe Tyson Fury's been in camp training for the uppercut, and he's looking at that like that's his ticket out of the fight, his ticket to win, the one-punch knockout. It's a possibility, but I doubt it, because he's had a long career, and if you're not used to doing it, normally you're not going to pick it up towards the end of your career. And I say that because Tyson Fury has repeatedly said he's going to retire after this fight. I brought that up when the fight was first announced. People were like, oh, he's just talking. Then about halfway through, when all this legal stuff happened, he was still saying he's going to retire. And then just a couple of days ago, he put out another interview saying, win, lose, or draw, this is his last fight. I believe he knows he's going to lose this fight. I think that's why there's so much respect when he talks about Dillian. And I'm telling you, I think internally, mentally, he's already lost. That's just my opinion. Y'all can disagree. By all means, please disagree. But again, I see it being an overhand that's going to be the beginning of the end for Tyson Fury. Whether he goes down, stays down, or he goes into flight mode after that for the rest of the fight is yet to be seen. But I've got Dillian Whyte winning, and I would not be surprised if Dillian Whyte knocks him out. I'm really believing that Tyson Fury is going to slow down, get tired, like I said, around that 8th round, because he's not going to be able to clinch. Every time he clinches, look for Dillian Whyte to either push him off or kind of hold him with one arm, step back with the other foot, and just start beating him to the body nonstop until the referee runs in there and tries to break him up. I would not even be surprised if Tyson Fury tried to complain to the referee to try to get the referee to save him because he doesn't like how the clinch game is going. I would not be surprised at all. But his biggest strength is going to be his biggest weakness in this fight. And while I did see training videos of Tyson Fury getting hit in the stomach by Joseph Parker, that's the thing about it. That's what they've been training for. That's what they're worried about, them love handles. That's where I even said way before seeing all of this, that's where Tyson Fury is going to fall short because Dillian Whyte has such good body work. But because they are so focused on the body, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be set up perfect. A whop! It's going to be an overhand. It's not going to be a hook. It's going to be an overhand. Dillian may even feint a hook to the body and then come right over the top. Whoop! And catch him. And I'm telling you, there's a difference. People want to make the argument, and we're going to end this pretty soon. People want to make the argument that Deontay Wilder hits harder than Dillian Whyte. And I don't know if that is true or not true. I really don't know. In singular punches, I don't know. But what I'm telling you is it's completely different. Hitting somebody one time hard is different than every shot that you hit them with is hard shots. And that's the thing about it. Every shot that Dillian Whyte is going to throw at Tyson Fury is going to sting. It's going to have pop on it. It's going to hurt him. It's going to slowly break him down. Whereas Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't have that full extension, that full torque, that be able to come across the ring and whoop, he really doesn't generate a lot of power. He really doesn't. You had the one punch where he knocked Tyson Fury down in the clinch that was extremely short. That was good, but that's not the norm for him. Normally, he needs range. He needs torque. He needs extension to really get off, and Dillian Whyte doesn't need that. Dillian Whyte loves to stay in the in the pocket. And that's another thing too. People want to talk about how good Tyson Fury's feet are. I don't think it's going to matter because I've never seen a fight, even with Joseph Parker, who Anthony Joshua couldn't even touch. He couldn't really even hit Joseph Parker, and Parker couldn't do anything against Dillian Whyte but stay in the pocket. The thing is, people could say Dillian doesn't have good footwork, and I say bullshit. Not all footwork is determined by it looking like an Ali shuffle. That is not the only gauge of what good footwork is. Good footwork is the ability for you to use your feet to execute your plan. If your plan is to keep somebody in mid-range or close range, and every person you fight can't get out of that range, then you have very good feet. You have very good footwork because you're always positioning themselves and yourselves to have them in the pocket or at mid-range where you need them. If you're a distance fighter and you can do the Muhammad Ali shuffle and you can stay away and throw the jab, boop, 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 and dance around somebody, that's good footwork too. It is. But at the same time, there are pocket fighters who don't stay to the outside, who have great footwork. Just because it doesn't look as flashy is irrelevant. It's about cutting off the ring, getting to the target, and keeping that target in front of you. And that's what Dillian does very well. And that's something that Tyson Fury's not used to either, having pressure constantly on him. I'm just telling y'all, stylistically, he's going to get hit more in this fight than he's used to being hit. He's going to be pressured more than he's used to being pressured. He's going to be forced into the pocket longer than he's ever been forced into the pocket before. And when he tries to clinch, it's going to work against him. Like I said, I've got it. Dillian Whyte beating Tyson Fury. And I just don't see what Tyson Fury can do to beat him. He can try to outbox him, but I don't think he can stay away from him. While Tyson does have a good jab, like I said, so does Dillian Whyte. So we're going to see how this plays out. My prediction is Dillian Whyte wins, but I would not be surprised if he knocks Tyson Fury out. It's just, I know Tyson Fury can go into flight mode, and it just comes down to how well Dillian can truly cut off that ring when Tyson does go into flight mode. But I'm telling y'all, I have a strong feeling that Tyson Fury very well could get knocked out in this fight. To me, power is tested by chins, and those chins that test that power need to be from the highest of the high, the elite. It doesn't matter how many tomato cans you knock over, how many Uber drivers you knock out. What matters is the elite chins, and we've already seen Dillian Whyte put down people who's never been put down before. In fact, he put Parker down multiple times. So while he may not have the same knockout ratio as a Deontay Wilder, his level of opposition has been much higher than Deontay Wilder. So you got to take that into perspective as well. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I know this was a long video. Haven't done these breakdowns in a long time, and I think the next time I do one of these, I do it on camera so I can actually move and show y'all what I'm talking about. But on that note, y'all have a good day. And again, if you disagree, let me know. If you agree, let me know.